All right, so now let's take what we learned about measurement and on number lines to measure some things, some fun, colorful pictures. So look at this page here. It says measure to the nearest inch. Now I want you to take a look at the rulers or the number lines, we could call them. And how many equal parts are there between 0 and 1? And between 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 3 and 4? How many equal parts? I hope you said one. There's only one equal part. So that means these are all holes. One hole, two holes, three holes. So this is measuring to the nearest inch. And when I want you to measure to the nearest inch, your answer is just going to be a whole number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Whichever one the object is closest to. So let's take a look at this little cute fuzzy caterpillar here. I'm going to pick a fun color. Let's do green this time. And we're going to measure him from his behind here to the end of his antenna. Now, before we measure him, I want to point out something to you. Whenever you are measuring the length of an object using a ruler, you have to line up one end with the 0. Otherwise, your measurement will not be correct. So if this caterpillar was, say, scooted up here, we wouldn't really be able to measure him very easily. We need to scoot him back so his end is right here at the 0, which he is. So let's look. He starts here, 0, and the end of his antenna is right here. So if I was measuring him to the nearest inch, I would say he's approximately 7 inches long. Now let's look at the ladybug. Is the ladybug lined up with the 0? Yep. So how long is the ladybug from his end here to the antenna? You're right, that would be approximately 2 inches. And then last we have this purple marker also lined up with the 0. So how long is the purple marker to the nearest inch? Well, technically, it's a little past the 8, isn't it? But since I'm asking you to measure it to the nearest inch, I want to know which one of these it's closest to. Is it closer to the 8 or closer to the 9? I would say it's closer to the 8. So we would say that marker is about 8 inches long. Now here we're going to measure these fun pictures to the nearest ½ inch. And how do you know it's a ½ inch? Well, let's look at our units. 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. How many equal parts are there between each unit? 1, 2. 2 equal parts, and that means they are halves. So our little baby turtle here, he's lined up with the 0. And if we were to figure out about where he ends, I'm going to try real hard to draw a straight line here. Okay. Oh gosh, that's a hard one, isn't it? He's kind of right between 3 and 1/2 and 4. So since my line kind of went a little this way here, I'm going to say he's closer to 3½ inches long. So I'm going to write 3 and 1/2. How about our root beer bottle here? It starts at the 0 and it goes all the way to about here. Oops. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. About how long would you say this root beer bottle is? I think I would say it's 7½ inches long. So I'm going to write 7 and 1/2. And then our ice cream starts here and ends about here. What do you think? I think it's about 5½ inches long. So I'm going to write 5 and 1/2 inches long. Okay, so here we were measuring to the nearest ½ inch. So now let's try measuring to the nearest ¼ inch. And I used this one because with these objects, they're a little curvy at the end. It's hard to see where they end, but they gave us these handy dandy arrows here and showed us where it ends. So let's look at our number line, aka the ruler. Our unit is 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. The units are all the distances between the whole numbers. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. That means they are divided into fourths, okay? So our unit fraction is 1/4. We can also call them quarters. Remember, we learned that earlier. So when I say measure to the nearest ¼ inch, I mean measure to the nearest fourth inch, fourth of an inch. So let's look at the baseball bat. It goes all the way up to the 10, but then it's a little past the 10. How many fourths past the 10 is it? 1, 2, 3/4. So we would say this baseball bat is 10 Oop, that's not a very good 10. And 3/4 inches long. Okay, how about the little cute frog right here? He's 1, 2, oop, not quite to the 3, so 2 inches and 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So he would be 2 and 3/4 inches long. And last, I'm assuming this is supposed to be cotton candy and not a sideways tree. This tree, or sorry, see, I called it a tree. This cotton candy goes from 0 and then it goes to the 5, but a little past the 5. So would we say it's 5 inches plus 1/4 of an inch. So we would say this cotton candy is 5 and 1/4 inches long. So we're measuring these to the nearest 1/4 inch. Okay, nice work, class. Let's try a few more, but these ones don't have our little arrow for us. So I have the cotton candy here again. I think it's still going to have the same measurement. If you have something that's maybe rounded, it's not a nice straight line, and you're trying to figure out where it ends, find the farthest point. So like this is the farthest point, and then try to draw a straight line going down. And then wherever it ends, that will be our measurement. So this guy, as we did on the previous page, it's 5 inches plus 1/4. This is 5 and 1/4 inches. Now on this one, I'm going to try my hardest to draw a little line, and then I want you to maybe pause and think about what measurement you would give the bat. So I'm going to find the farthest point of his wing, and I'm going to go down. Okay, go ahead and pause it for a moment. Take a look and see how long is this bat? I would say it is 3 and 1/4 inches long. Okay, all right, last we've got a little train here, and the train ends about here. How long is that train? You can pause it if you want a little more time to figure it out. Okay, the train is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 1/4, 2/4, 3/4 inches long. So 9 full inches, and then 3/4. So 9 and 3/4 inches long. Very good. All right. So now I'm going to draw lines, and I want you to look at the lines and think about what measurement you would give, how long each line is. So after I draw them, I want you to pause it and look at them, try to figure out what this one would be, this one, and this one, and then unpause it, and we'll see what you got. Okay, so this line's going to go to here. This one's going to go to here. This one's going to go to here. And this one's going to go to here. Okay, are you ready? How long is this line? Where does it end? This line is 2 inches long. 2 inches long. All right, how about this line here? Now this is kind of a tricky one because it doesn't even get to the 1, right? It's not even an inch long. It's a fraction of an inch long. It is 1, 2, 3/4 of an inch long. So that we would actually just write the fraction, 3/4 of an inch. How about this guy? 1, 2, 3 full inches, and then 1/4, 2/4 of an inch. So you could write 3 and 2/4, or you could write 3 and what? 3.5. Excellent. And then over here, I know I didn't label it, but for the sake of time, I'm going to keep going. Over here, we just have this line goes to the 4, but then it's 1/4 longer than the 4. So we would say this is 4 and 1/4 inches long. I'll go ahead and write this one. All right, nice job. Last, take a look at these rulers. And instead of reading how long a line is, I want you to, maybe with your finger, or if you have with your eyeballs, you can just look at where you think each mark should go. So if I was going to draw a line that was 2 3/4 inches long, where would it go? Okay, where is 1/2 inch? Where is 3 3/4 inch? And so on. Go ahead and pause and take a look at these. All right, had a little technical difficulty there. Okay, I'm gonna grab a fun pen if I can. It just doesn't want to let me work right now. Magic pen? Nope. Oh, here we go. We'll do a creative pen. And let's do this fun line here. I need to make a line that is 2 3/4 inches long. That means it needs to start at the 0 and end at 2 3/4 inches. So let's see. 1, 2, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. I'm going to end it right here. So if I draw a line that is 2 3/4 inches long, it'll be about like that. Okay, over here, 1/2 inch. Am I going to go over 1 for this one? Nope, I'm just going to go to 1/2 inch. Now remember, 1/2 is the same as 2/4. So I'm going to draw a line that goes about like that. All right, how about 3 3/4 inches? I'm going to start at the 0 and I'm going to end at 3 3/4. Sorry, that line is not very straight. 5 1/2 inches. Remember, 1/2 is the same as 2/4. So I'm going to draw all the way to the 5 and then 1 2/4 because 2/4 is the same as 1/2. 4 1/4. I'm going to go to the 4 and then 1/4 longer. Then last 3/4 inches. Ooh, is that one going to go over 1? Nope, it's just going to go 2 3/4. All right, class, that was just a quick lesson on how to measure to the nearest 1/4 inch, and we just packed a lot of learning in there. So you can rewatch if you want. I'm going to post another video that might be helpful for you. And when you have had some time to review and practice, I would like you to complete the quiz and then turn that in. Thanks, class.